On today's show, a brand new security system for your home that is more than just a set of cameras. We also look at the Mavic Air 2, plus a whole lot more. In tech news, it looks like TikTok is going to be sold to Microsoft with a bit of a twist applied by the President of the United States. I've never actually seen an example such as this where a company wants to buy another company and the transaction would be allowable because of a senior government official who publicly comes out and says, well, we're going to allow this to happen. If it does happen, you would have to pay part or a fee or a commission or gratuity, whatever you want to call it, to the government for allowing this to go through. I mean, can you imagine what that would mean to international business relations if every time you wanted to go purchase a company that was in another country, you had to pay off either your government or that government first and do so publicly? Quite astounding to hear. Anyway, it won't be the end of TikTok. It is going to continue on. It might be in a different form in the future once it's split between a version that's operating in Canada, United States, Australia, New Zealand versus the rest of the world. We wait and see what happens there. But definitely don't think that TikTok is going to be shut down or removed from operating in the United States of America now. Also just announced Galaxy Note 20.
Samsung member, I'm posting so many comments live right now, it's hard to follow. But I'm so pleased that you share our excitement. And I can tell you really want to see the new devices. So everyone out there, let me start by introducing the all-new Galaxy Note 20.
A couple of different handsets to choose from there. Pricing is high. It was always going to be high on this one. We're playing around with the handset at the moment. We'll have more in the next couple of weeks about this one, but pre-orders are on sale from this week and details are on cybershack.com of how to pre-order for that one. I'll tell you what, high-end phones, they do not get cheaper, but they keep getting packed with more and more features. This time, the announcement was from Samsung. Bowers & Wilkins, famous for high-end quality speaker solutions, have launched a set of premium noise-cancelling headphones, and we've brought a set with us as part of our travel kit. Bowers & Wilkins is a household name in audio, having made some important developments through the years. The PX7 represents the company's current top-of-the-line wireless headphone model, and it's got all the features you need. 30 hours of playback with active noise cancelling turned on is enough to match all the other premium wireless headphones on the market. And with fast charging, you get another 5 hours of playback from just 15 minutes on the charger. Comfort is important too, and the PX7 offer over-ear cups that stay comfortable through hours of listening. With soft ear pads and a comfortable headband, you could almost fall asleep with them on. Another neat feature is the proximity sensors in the ear cups. If you take off the headphones while listening, they will automatically pause and then resume playback when you put them back on. When travelling with headphones like these, it's nice to know that they can withstand a few knocks, and the PX7 will definitely resist bumping around in a bag. The arms and headband are made of woven carbon fibre to provide a lot of strength without making the headphones too heavy. The sound quality from these headphones is excellent, with large drivers that provide a deep bass response. And thanks to the excellent isolation, your listening will be uninterrupted in noisy environments. The PX7 is also upgradable via firmware, with voice control of Siri and Google, one of the latest features to be added to the feature list. They're comfortable, lightweight, full of some very, very smart features. These PX7s from Bowers & Wilkins premium noise-cancelling headphones are available now. Now, as we look to make our homes more secure and safe, one of the things about doing that is security cameras. And to date, many of the security camera solutions around have all been about capturing imaging of what's going on in the home. Then we've seen new features like color night vision, which have helped. We've seen floodlights being added. But now there's a further feature that's being added by the guys from Swann to their new range of security solutions called the Enforcer. I thought we'd have a chat with Jeremy from Swann to take us through what's going on. How are you, Jeremy?
G'day, Charlie. Well, thanks. Good to be with you.
Yeah, good to have you on the show. So the Enforcer camera really wants to take it to that next level as well, providing more, I guess, more confirmation from people who may be in your yard or property that there is actually a security system in place and that they are being monitored. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, traditionally security and CCTV, video security and CCTV was about seeing what was happening. What we've done with the Enforcer is made it more about crime prevention. So the Enforcer can sense activity that's happening and then plays a sort of an active role in hopefully helping to prevent that activity. So it has sensor lighting, it has sensor red and blue, we call it police style flashing lights. It has a spotlight. It can trigger a mobile alert. It can trigger video recording as well. So hopefully, rather than just seeing what's happening, you're actually getting to prevent the activity, the burglar or the graffiti artist or the intruder, whoever it is. Hopefully it's going to interrupt them and make them go away, and you'll still get the ability to see what's happening and record video, but hopefully it's actually getting in there and preventing bad things from happening at your home or your business.
And that's it, isn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about providing the best deterrent, because it's all about deterrent. If somebody wants to knock off your house, they're going to knock off your house. I mean, that's what they want to do. But I guess we're just trying to provide as many different reasons where the person coming into your property would turn around and leave. And that's capturing video evidence, aligning the landscape so that you've got better quality video in its color night vision, those kinds of things. This one is I guess it's almost bringing some of the old methods that we used to have for security systems. Like we used to have an alarm, for example, that eventually I'm sure people paid less attention to, but we're trying to bring some of those sort of more historic methods into the new method. Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, anytime we talk to our customers and we say, what does security mean for you? Security to them is about prevention. It's not just about seeing what's happening. So that, as I just talked about before, this system hopefully gets in there and helps prevent unwanted activity or burglaries, break-ins, whatever. So that's part of it. It is actually using, as you say, sort of older technology in a way, passive infrared motion detection, but it's heat and motion detection. So it's picking up the sort of heat signature of moving objects like cars and people to then trigger the lights, the mobile alerts and the recording. So it is using that old kind of alarm technology that's been around for a while, but it's taking it to a new level. The other thing I like about the Enforcer is it has person detection. It actually can sense that it's a person that's on site, not specifically who it is, but it's able to pick up an algorithm that it's a person on screen, and that can trigger the lights and the recording and the alerts as well. So it's become more sophisticated. Another thing I like about the Enforcer, and you touched on it, is because of the lighting, it actually has color night vision. Anyone who's bought a security system in the last 10 years or so knows that usually the night vision you get is black and white. It looks like after Tribal Council on Survivor, when they all go back to the camp and they have about who got voted out, that sort of black and white look. Well, that's no more. Now with the Enforcer, you get color night vision, and it really gives you a much more of an opportunity to see what's happened in rich color. And That's 1080p HD, so full HD, the sort of video quality that you'd expect from your flat screen TV as well. So it's very impressive video quality day and night.
What about if you yeah, we saw that, you know, we were playing around with it. We did the shoot. We had we were telling the system to film humans, don't film the chickens that are in the yard, for example. You got all that level of flexibility. What about if you wanted to add more cameras, for example? What about if you wanted the Enforcer system, but you wanted 20 cameras or 16 cameras? Is that an option now or in the future? Do you look at those kinds of things as a manufacturer?
Yeah, we do. So there's a couple of different ways to look at that. The standard system Enforcers that we're selling in Australia, there's a 4-camera version. There's an 8-channel with 6 cameras, meaning you could actually upgrade that to 8 cameras. So it's 8-channel, 6 cameras. You could add another 2 cameras to that. And then there's an 8-camera version. So they're the configurations we're selling at the moment in Australia. But the beauty of the Enforcer is it works on the Swann Security app. So you can actually combine all your security devices from Swann on the one app. Mm-hmm. You could actually add a wireless camera. You could add another Enforcer system, maybe that you've got at a different location, maybe a small business or a vacation home or something. So you can combine different Enforcer systems all on the one app. Or, as I say, if you want to think of maybe expanding your security at the site you're at, you could buy the 8-channel, 6-camera version, and you can always add 2 more Enforcer cameras if you'd like to.
So I could sort of put together a mashup of different Swann solutions in the home, even different DVR-based solutions, because they all amalgamate together under the one app.
Yeah, that's what we've spent a lot of time and effort over the last couple of years building our own Swann security ecosystem. We've got developers in-house. I think there's about 18 or 19 developers in Australia that are working sort of pretty much around the clock to build this ecosystem. And so, yeah, you can combine wireless, you can combine powered Wi-Fi cameras. Some of them, you know, you've covered on CyberShack in months gone by. All those cameras now talk to one another and can be kind of interconnected using that same Swann security app, and they interconnect with the Enforcer now. So you might decide, hang on, I want a wireless camera out at the garage because I don't have a PowerPoint nearby there. You can see that camera on the same screen that you see the Enforcer cameras that are actually wired. So it gives customers a flexibility that we haven't had before, and we're really excited about the possibilities for people out there.
One of the things as a company you've decided to do and continue with is just this sort of 7-day recording of your clips at no charge as part of a subscription that you take. You obviously have more commercial focused subscriptions as well. What's the reasoning behind that, and will you continue?
Yeah, we like to think of ourselves as being a value for money brand for everyday people. So we try to make as much of what we're doing free out of the box as we can. So in the case of the Enforcer, it comes with a pre-installed 1 terabyte hard drive. You can record for months at a time before it starts overriding. You can also back up video clips and also stills to the cloud, your own Dropbox account, or then save those clips to a thumb drive or something. So that's all free. There are some other brands out there where you've got to pay cloud costs. You can't actually record it all without paying an ongoing subscription. That's not what we do. We try to make it as simple and as free as possible at the start. There are additional plans you can look towards if you want more. But in the case of the Enforcer, yeah, it's free local and recording and cloud backup. In the cases of our wireless cameras and our Wi-Fi cameras, they usually come with 7 days cloud recording free, plus local recording as well, local backup for a couple of days. And you can then extend that to 60 days in the cloud if you want to by paying a small fee. So, yeah, we try to make it as free and easy out of the box as possible.
Question from Wendy that came through during the week. She's got a new rescue beagle. Good on you, Wendy. And she's in rental property and she wants to get a security camera so that she can sit it on the bookshelf outside in the yard, look at the beagle, talk to the beagle, make sure it's okay while she's out of the house. We suggested your new tracker camera. She loves it, but it's on pre-order at the moment. So when can Wendy get the tracker camera? When does that sort of pre-order period finishing? When do we actually see that in the store?
Yeah, one of the challenges, for a brand like Swann, with the COVID crisis we're having at the moment, some of the logistical questions have been a bit of a challenge lately in terms of getting stock in and getting it out. But I know with that product, I would say within the next 2 weeks or so, it would be available to use. That camera is one of the powered Wi-Fi cameras that I mentioned, where you've actually got to connect it to power, and then it transmits the video over Wi-Fi. So it's a really good option. Another option, that is an indoor camera. So if she's looking for an outdoor camera, it may be best to go with our wire-free camera, which is battery powered. So you charge it, and you should get, several weeks, maybe 2 or 3 months, depending on how much activity is generated at the scene of battery life. So maybe 3 months battery life from a camera like that. That one's also good because there it is on screen. There's a white barrel version and a black version as well. So depending on what you're looking for. There's also a solar charging panel that goes with that one. So that if you want to have it sort of permanently outside, you can connect it to the solar charging panel, and you basically set and forget. You won't have to charge it again. It just runs all year round. So that's a good option for people looking for a permanent wireless camera solution outside, or the option of charging it every 3 months or so.
All right, brilliant. Wendy, we'll send you some links. And as my name might suggest, beagles are one of my favourite dogs. Wendy, appreciate your question. Jeremy, thank you for joining us today. Best of luck to you and your family during the lockdown. Keep your chins up. We are all here for you. Thank you for joining us on the show today, and we'll speak to you again very soon. Appreciate you taking us through the latest from Swann.
Pleasure, Charlie. Thanks for having me.
LG's investment in its OLED display technology over the years has meant the technology is improving, and the range of sizes and different designs has also evolved.
The days where OLED technology would cost you an arm and a leg are gone, and with OLED TVs becoming more accessible, customers ought to know the advantages of the technology over traditional displays. OLED stands for Organic Light Emitting Diode. Despite the similarity of the name to LED LCD TVs, the technology behind the display is different. Instead of using a backlight shining through a colour filter to provide light for the image, each pixel in an OLED display is its own light source. LG's focus on Dolby compatibility across its OLED range means customers will receive the best audio-visual experience available. Dolby Vision ensures you get excellent HDR quality for better contrast between bright and dark scenes. Dolby Atmos means you get an immersive surround sound experience that mimics a surround sound speaker setup in your living room.
LG's OLED range has gotten bigger and better this year, with new image processors, more sizes available, and more form factors. Starting with the entry-level OLED panels on the B series, and ending with the final word in home cinema, the LG Signature 88-inch OLED 8K.
With a huge 88-inch display size, no detail is lost thanks to its 8K resolution, powering 33 million pixels. LG improved upon the A9 Gen 2 processor from the C series, enabling it to upscale lower resolution content. And when proper 8K content becomes more widely available, the Signature OLED 8K will be ready for it. The Signature OLED 8K also comes with its own TV stand and powerful inbuilt soundbar for a premium audio experience.
No matter your budget or your size requirements, LG's OLED range has an option for you, providing the best available image quality through OLED's individually lit pixels and LG's powerful image processors, quality of life features like voice control that make it easy to reach all your favorite content, and compatibility with digital formats like Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos for the best at-home cinema experience around.
On the show today, let's talk about drones, because at the end of the day, we love drones. I mean, the technology advancements in drones, even just going from like a Mavic to a Mavic 2, for example, not just the hardware, but the software they're running quieter and longer, and the smarts built into them are so advanced now. I thought we'd have a chat about that with Geoff Quattromani. How are you today, sir?
Really well, Charlie. Thanks for having me.
No, good to have a chat. Look, how far have we come, at least in the last 6 to 12 months, in terms of drone technology?
Look, it's changing quite rapidly. I mean, every year, for example, when DJI decides to release a new drone, they're flying further, they're flying for longer in terms of battery life. The quality of the video that we see is better, and they're even getting lighter as well. And, that's one of the most impressive things, that when I pick up the new Mavic Air 2, it's so small, but so light as well. It's less than half a kilo in weight to actually carry. So when you think about those sort of things, it means that it can fly much higher, further, and for longer because of all the advancements they're making in the drone themselves.
I was doing a Facebook chat with a guy who lives on the Sunshine Coast, and he was wanting to buy either the Mavic or the Mavic 2. And we're going through the details of the differences. And he wanted to spend Mavic 1 money. And very, very quickly, he moved to the point of he was then required to spend the Mavic 2 money because he wanted everything the Mavic 2 had. He wanted to go walking up the Glasshouse Mountains, for example, and have the drone sort of circling around, shots on him and his wife the entire time as they're going on bushwalks and things like that. I mean, it's that level of detail you can get now, right?
It is, and that's one of the most fabulous things about drones today, is that it's not just about controlling them with the controller that it does come with, which is fabulous to fly with, but there's so many smarts built into them now that if you're riding a bike, for example, you could get the drone to just follow you from behind through your entire mountain bike ride. And those sort of things means that you're hands off and the drone locks onto a target and follows you everywhere you need to go. And I think when you think about what the drones can do on their own, even without our interference, that's where it becomes even more impressive. And, touching on that with a bushwalk, for example, or a hike, perfect example of why people would do it. Even if you're boating, you can focus on driving the boat and let the drone follow you through that trip.
The interesting thing about drones is that people still see them as, I think anyway, it's just sort of a bit of a toy, but they're really much more than that now. I mean, the uses of them are much wider, not just through industry, but also on a sort of a recreational perspective. I mean, we're using them in so many different ways now, right?
It's true. And obviously the camera on board makes it so amazing. And if you watch probably most TV shows now, if you're seeing an aerial shot or an aerial video, it's usually being done with a drone because it's taken away that issue of getting a helicopter to actually get up there with a cameraman to do all of that work. And it means that drones are taking us to places where we can't physically walk to or get to, whether it's, following a whale out in the ocean or something like that. That's what the drones are great for. But to your point, the industrial applications that we're seeing is huge. If you look in agriculture, where they're using it even in vineyards to fly drones over an entire crop to actually assess whether it needs watering and what the condition of the leaves are like and things like that. The amount of ways that we're going to be using drones to inspect buildings, think about disaster zones, for example, the first thing they send in is drones. It's the easiest way to see anything from above or even in greater detail than we can safely get to ourselves.
In the great nation of Australia, we are rightly or wrongly held back in some aspects when it comes to drones, in that we've got laws around where we can fly them and where we can't fly them and who can fly them as well. These laws seem to change or refine on a regular basis. Where are things at the moment in terms of who can fly drones and where?
Yeah, look, that's a really important thing to consider too, is that if you are looking to buy a drone because you're hoping that you can hold it outside your apartment and then start flying around from there, you really need to go to the CASA website and actually learn about what you can and can't do with drones. In terms of how high you can fly them, you may not even know that there is a flight zone nearby or there's a helipad nearby that's going to restrict your flying capabilities. And even, in fact, where I live, I'm not far from the Richmond RAF base, for example. And that means that I actually need to drive quite far away before I can really make use of this drone. And, they're capable of flying extremely high and extremely far. And that means that they could be flying in the way of, aircraft, helicopters and things like that. So you do need to pay attention to the CASA website. There are apps that you can get, and even the apps within the DJI control will stop you from flying if you're in an airspace, for example. So that's one of the great things I love. Even if you are not educated around where it's safe to fly, the app will tell you and actually restrict you and stop you from flying in certain cases. And I think that's important, because the last thing we need is something like what happened in Gatwick, for example, where the airport had to be shut down because there were drones flying around the airport, and that's just extremely dangerous.
And there are severe penalties as well if you're flying in the wrong spot. No longer is it just the option of the pilot. So I didn't know. The expectation is that you will know. I mean, I've seen examples where, for example, people who thought they were quite advanced drone pilots were flying in areas. There was one example where a pilot was flying their drone around Sydney Harbour, for example, and when and was talking online about they just didn't know that is a closed airspace. So just because it appears to follow the rules around where you can fly doesn't necessarily mean you can, because there might be rules from a separate department, for example, that stop you from doing that. So that's built into the app now, and obviously is much more easy to follow than ever before. But it really does point to the fact that you need to know what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the same as when you jump into a car. You can pretend that you don't know the road rules and do whatever you like, but when the police pull you over, you won't have an excuse. And, flying over people's houses, especially if you think about the summertime, people laying by their pools and whatnot, the last thing they need to see is a drone flying above them. You can't do that. And people need to learn that, even if you've got a backyard, it doesn't mean that you can fly directly up from that drone space and expect it to be okay with your neighbors and the rest of the community. So you do need to be very, very conscious, educate yourself. If you're going to invest the $1,500 in a drone, which is enough as it is, the last thing you want to do is slugged with a fine for doing the wrong thing. So do the research, learn how to fly them, practice, and then go and take them to, amazing places where these things can really shine.
And the other advice, of course, is to leave the amateur flight controls added, so the drone won't let you do certain things because you're a bad pilot. Best time to review a drone, of course, is just before bushfire season. They're very good at checking the gutters to make sure they're free of leaves. Keep that one in mind for next time, GQ, when you're doing a review of these things. They're very, very helpful for that as well. Great to have a chat to you, Mavic Pro 2. Probably, I would say, it's easily one of the most all-round best drones out in the market at the moment. Would you concur?
Yeah, look, I think DJI is probably leading the market here where we talk about drones. There are other brands, but DJI does have a nice range where you can go from cheap to steep, all up to about $8,000 for the industrial ones. But do shop around, find the right one for you, and just have fun out there. And be safe,
Mavic
please.
Air 2. Some details on the comments section. You can check that out. Great to have a chat, GQ. Speak to you next week.
Thanks, Charlie.
This is Genie, the touchscreen device delivering your favorite streaming entertainment. It's smart, safe, and fits in your pocket.
You'll notice that Genie has no cameras, as this is an entertainment device. Every Genie has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connectivity, a 5-inch plastic touchscreen, FM radio receiver, and a 2,200 mAh battery. We've also included basic parental controls allowing you to pin lock the apps and settings on every Genie. Don't know the pin? Then you can't open the app. There are 3 versions of Genie: Genie, Genie Plus, and Genie Connect. Genie is perfect for listening to apps like Spotify and Apple Music with limited distractions. Genie Plus has the same hardware but is a Google-registered device. So we've pre-installed some Google services like YouTube, Google Maps, and Chrome, and you can download and install your favorite apps via the Google Play Store. Genie Connect is just like the Genie Plus, but with 4G connectivity. Your Genie Connect will stream your favorite entertainment via Wi-Fi and 4G, make and receive calls, and also text. With Genie Connect, we've included the ability to personalize the incoming and outgoing call and SMS experience using our preloaded call block. Block or approve incoming calls and SMS traffic as you decide. Find your Genie, a safer, smart device.
Thanks again for watching. A big show today. Appreciate you tuning in. More details through the week. Don't forget to visit our website, cybershack.com. We'll see you next week.